There is a specific kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with how many hours you slept last night. It is a heaviness that sits right behind your eyes, a subtle, static hum in your chest that whispers that something is fundamentally off. You wake up, you silence the alarm, you drink the coffee, you answer the emails, you play the role of the diligent employee, the stable partner, the happy friend. But if you were to pause, truly pause, in the middle of that rush, you might realize that you feel less like the driver of your life and more like a passenger trapped in the back seat, watching the scenery blur by through a locked window. This is the modern condition. It is the sensation of being a character in your own movie, reciting lines you didn't write, for an audience you don't even like. You are checking every single box: career, social life, responsibilities, yet the joy feels muted, like listening to music underwater. Every decision feels heavy, weighted down by the invisible gravity of expectation. And even when you finally stop to rest, you aren't recharging. You're just powering down a machine. If this resonates with you, if you feel that quiet, desperate disconnection, I want you to know that you are not broken. You are simply lost in the noise. And today, we are going to cut through that noise. We are going to dismantle the architecture of the fake self and hand you the blueprints to rediscover the person buried underneath. We aren't just talking about finding yourself. We are talking about the radical, terrifying, and beautiful act of unveiling the power that has been dormant inside you all along. Let's look at the mechanics of why this happens. We live in an era of unprecedented external noise. From the moment we are born, we are inundated with a script. Society, family, culture, and the algorithm all conspire to hand us a definition of success. They tell us what happiness looks like, how a good life should feel, and who we need to be to survive. To cope with this, we build what the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung called the persona. Think of the persona as a mask. It is a necessary social tool. It protects us, helps us fit in, and helps us navigate the tribe. But here's the danger. If you wear a mask long enough, the skin underneath begins to forget what the fresh air feels like. Eventually, the mask fuses to the face. You forget you are wearing it. You mistake the role you are playing for the soul you actually are. This isn't just a philosophical problem. It is a physiological one. When you spend years suppressing your true impulses to please others, your nervous system enters a state of functional freeze. You numb out. You flatten your emotions because feeling the gap between who you are and who you are pretending to be is simply too painful. This protective shell becomes a prison. The cost of staying in this prison is higher than you think. It is not just unhappiness. It is the total erosion of your potential. When you are disconnected from your core, you make choices based on fear, not desire. You take the promotion that looks prestigious but rots your soul. You stay in the relationship that is fine but dead because the unknown feels too scary. You live a life of shoulds. I know this because I lived it. I had the resume, the apartment, the validation. On paper, I was a triumph. In reality, I was hollow. I would come home, close the door, and feel like an imposter in my own existence. I was building a castle on a foundation of sand, terrified that a single strong wind would reveal that I had no idea who I was. But there is a pivot point, a moment where the pain of staying the same finally outweighs the fear of changing. Jung called the journey out of this state individuation. It is the process of stripping away the layers of who you are, not to reveal who you have always been. In the ancient Vedantic traditions, this is captured in the phrase, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. It is the realization that you are not the churning thoughts. You are not the anxious body. You are not the mask. You are the observer behind it all. So, how do we move from this philosophical realization to practical, tangible change? How do we actually wake up? We are going to break this down into 4 tactical phases. These are not abstract concepts. These are tools for excavation. Phase 1 is the inner dialogue audit. The first step to reclaiming your authority is to understand the regime that is currently running your mind. Most of us have a radio playing in our heads 24/7, broadcasting a stream of self-criticism, fear, and borrowed opinions. We need to turn that radio up so we can analyze the broadcast. We do this through a specific type of journaling called expressive writing. This is not a diary entry about what you had for lunch. This is a data dump. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Put a pen to paper. Analog is better. It slows down the mind, and write without stopping. Do not edit. Do not worry about grammar. If you don't know what to write, write, "I don't know what to write," until the truth pushes through. You are looking for the glitch in the system. You are vomiting the subconscious noise onto the page so you can look at it objectively. Once the noise is out, you switch to interrogation. You ask the hard questions. When did I feel most alive today, and when did I feel like I was dying? What am I actually afraid of right now? If I could walk away from my life today, what is the one thing I would miss? And what is the one thing I would burn? When you review these pages at the end of the week, you will start to see patterns. You will see that you always feel drained around a specific person. You will see that your anger is actually pointing you toward a boundary you need to set. This is how you turn from a victim of your thoughts into a student of them. Phase 2 is constructing your value compass. If the journal is the map of where you are, the compass tells you where to go. Most of us are operating on a compass calibrated by our parents or our peers. We value security because our dad did. We value status because Instagram does. We need to recalibrate. You need to sit down with a list of values: freedom, creativity, loyalty, power, peace, and ruthlessly narrow them down. You cannot value everything, because if everything is a priority, nothing is. You need to force yourself to choose. If you had to choose between adventure and stability, which one wins? Neither is wrong, but one is yours. Narrow it down to your top 5. Then, define them in high-definition detail. Do not just write integrity. Write, integrity means I do not say yes when I want to say no. It means I speak my truth even when my voice shakes. This document becomes your constitution. The next time you have a hard decision, you don't ask, "What should I do?" You ask, "What does my value compass say?" It removes the ambiguity and replaces it with conviction. Phase 3 is mastering the emotional landscape. Disconnection is often just a fancy word for emotional suppression. We stop feeling because we are afraid the feelings will overwhelm us. But emotions are data. They are biological signals telling you about your environment. To reconnect, you must learn to weather the storm without drowning. We start with the daily weather report. 3 times a day, stop. Close your eyes, drop your awareness out of your head and into your body. What is the weather like in there? Is it stormy? Is it foggy? Is there a high-pressure system of anxiety in your chest? Don't fix it, just name it. I am feeling a tightness in my stomach. I am feeling a heavy fog of sadness. By labeling the emotion, you engage the prefrontal cortex and dampen the fear response in the amygdala. You are training yourself to be the observer of the storm, not the boat getting capsized by it. Combine this with the body scan. Emotions are physical events, Grief lives in the throat. Fear lives in the belly. Anger lives in the jaw. Scan your body. Find the tension. Breathe into it. And this is the weirdest but most powerful part. Speak to yourself. When the pain arises, say out loud, I see you are in pain. It makes sense that you are scared. I am here. It sounds strange, but self-compassion is the antidote to shame. You are reparenting yourself in real time. Finally, phase 4, the small, authentic action. Insight without action is just daydreaming. You cannot think your way into a new way of living. You have to act your way there, but do not try to change your whole life overnight. That triggers resistance. Instead, focus on the micro. I challenge you to take one small, authentic action every single day. This is a tiny, almost invisible act that aligns with one of your new values. If your value is creativity, your action isn't paint a masterpiece. It is doodle on a napkin for 3 minutes. If your value is connection, it isn't throw a dinner party. It is put your phone in the other room while you talk to your spouse. These actions seem insignificant, but they are compounding interest for your soul. Every time you take a small action that honors your truth, you are casting a vote for your new identity. You are proving to yourself that you can be trusted. You are rebuilding the bridge between your inner world and your outer reality, brick by brick. This is the work. It is not a magical lightning bolt of enlightenment. It is the daily, gritty, unglamorous practice of returning to yourself. It is peeling off the mask, layer by layer, until the face in the mirror matches the feeling in your heart. The power you are looking for is not out there in the world. It is not in the next achievement, the next relationship, or the next paycheck. It is right here, buried under the noise, waiting for you to be brave enough to listen. So, start today. Pick up the pen, check the compass, feel the weather, take the step, unveil the giant within,